Yo, what is happening, everybody? Welcome back to Pimp My PC. Now, this is the show we try to teach you how to personalize, customize, trick out your PC, but above all, make it cool. Now, today we're continuing that Blackest Night Green Lantern-inspired desktop pimp that I've had going on the past few episodes. Today we're talking about a little more interior lighting. Let's step into my office, guys. All right, so now the interior lighting. Usually on those customized cases that you see, that's usually the coolest part. But before you jump online and start looking for those interior lights, there's a couple of things you guys need to consider. Really important things, actually. First and foremost is just make sure that you actually have enough adapters or plugins on your power supply to actually facilitate the new lights that you're going to be buying. The other thing is that there's a ton of different lights to choose from, whether it's LED, cathode lighting, or even strip lighting. So those are some things to consider. So slow your roll, make sure you get the right lights for the right pimp, all right? So now, the first thing we did was basically had to undo a little bit of a pimp we did before. So one of the custom fans that we put in actually had to unplug because it's on my side panel here, and that side panel has to come off so I can get those interior lights in. So that's the first thing you want to do, is just gently unplug that. And then the next thing to consider is placement. Now, placement is super, super important, guys. I cannot stress this enough, because I know you want it to look cool, and that's very important, but the other thing you got to consider is the fact that at some point you're going to have to plug those lights in, and you just want to make sure that you've got enough slack in your cable so that you're not running across your fan or even stretching across your motherboard. So placement is super, super important. So definitely, like, you know, what's the old adage? Measure twice, cut once, right? So sort of apply that to this. So now the lights that I actually picked were the cathode lighting, and the reason I did that was just because they actually went with the placement that I had in my head for this pimp, and the installation was amazingly easy. I super, super dug it, and they were really affordable as well. So let me show you the ones that I picked out. Now, the first thing you can see is that they are long and green, which is really important for this particular Green Lantern pimp. The other thing to consider is the fact that these particular lights have a power adapter that come with them. It's this little blue box that you see right here. And that's really important too, because you're going to have to place that inside your system as well. The other thing to consider is the fact that you have these switches. These particular lights have switches that resemble sort of just, you know, the PCI card slots you have on the back of your machine. It looks just like the plate of a video card or even a sound card that you would install there. Very similar to that. So that installation is actually, you've done it 100 times before, so you won't have any trouble there at all. So those are the lights that I picked. So now that we've talked about the lights, we talked about what you need to do, let's talk about installing them. So now what I had planned on mine is, since this was a plexiglass case, I wanted to put the tube lighting going around the inside of the plexiglass, because I thought that would just make it pop, and you'll see that I was bang on here in a second. So the first thing we want to do is, once we know where we want to put it, we basically take our Velcro. And these particular lights come with all the pieces of Velcro that you need to not only attach the tubes, but also attach that power adapter as well. And again, I'm going to harp on the placement thing, because as I found out, that power adapter can keep your case from closing if you don't have it placed properly. So now, as you can see, I had actually a couple of pair of hands. My associate producer, Michael, was jumping in to help me get that placement properly, to make sure that we had the power adapter and the tubes Velcroed in the right places so I could finally get that case to close. I think he just got tired of watching me struggle. So now, once you've actually got the Velcro placed properly, so you got your tubes placed, got your power adapter for the tubes placed, the next thing you want to do is screw in those power switches. And like I was telling you before, it's pretty much the same thing as sort of the exterior of like a video card slot or a sound card slot that you're going to see. It's not going to look any different from that, except you're going to have two additional switches on the back of your computer now. They're going to power those green tubes on and off. So now we've screwed those power switches in, and now it's time to give these bad boys power. So they're going to get power directly from the power supply, and it's just a matter of plugging them in. You can see the plugs that I've got right here. Plug in one, plug in two, and it's good to go. So now the next thing we want to do is redo that old pimp that we did before with that green fan. I've got a fan on my plexiglass case here, so I got to plug it in and then put my case back on so that all the green goodness will show in all its glory. So now we finally got it back together, and it is time to see the pimp in all its green gloriousness. So let's spin this around. Power it on, and it's going to be the same thing with the fans that we did on the last episode. You're probably not going to be able to see it as well as I'd like you to, but that's all right, because what I'll do is just get my man Matty to turn the house lights down and show that green pimp in all its glory. So now you can see, when with just the fans glowing, I still got that subtle green pimp, but once I switch on these cathode tube lightings, boom! Look at that Green Lantern pimp glow. This desktop is ready to patrol Sector 2814. Believe this. Well, that's today's show, guys. Make sure you check out the show notes at butterscotch.com and hit me up at lucas@butterscotch.com. I'm anxious to find out what you guys think about that Green Lantern pimp and see if it inspired you to do some comic book pimps yourself. Hit me up. I'm Lucas. Keep it unique. See ya!